Okay, I just wanted a brief summary of all the replies that I get from atheists. I randomly get atheists just randomly replying to me. And the funny thing is, they may try to I don't know, it's like for a non-belief, they certainly are active in defending their belief. It's okay. All right, some of the funny ones, just kind of the highlights of comments and things I've had conversation. And I know I shouldn't revel in destroying their logic, but it's kind of what I do. I don't sorry, that sounded terrible. Okay, one of them said that they didn't like that there's no Okay, first of all, they said that they're not an individual group when I pointed out that it was a belief system. And they're not a individual group. And however, they wanted to be represented by politicians as a group. So they're not a group, but they are a group. So, that's a failure of society breaking down. They ultimately, Marxism has really sucked. Marxism has, how would you say, has been so much in the culture that people can't think as individuals. They only can think of race and gender and sexuality and ideology. So the fact that he's saying he's an individual and he's calling for Marxism, it's hilarious, but it is what it is. And then kind of had a debate with I forget his name. I don't remember these people's names. Anyway, this one went on for a long time. We're basically debating whether or not you can be moral. And of course, all atheists can really do is whataboutism. So they try to find specific scriptures without context, not understanding that 2,000 years ago was not like yet today. And see, I got you, this is the morality, this is wrong, blah, blah, blah. And one of them, he basically did a 24-minute video on me. I can't remember, it's dark something rather, I don't remember. He's got a cool avatar though. He said that, okay, first of all, he started off with, what did he start off with? I don't know, it's a lot of whataboutism. I'm trying to find scriptures to prove that, well, when I say that, atheists can't be moral, because they, essentially don't have any litmus test to prove that they're moral. He, of course, does the whataboutism, finds some random scripture and out of context and everything else, and then says, aha, I got you, this is immoral. But what litmus test are we talking about? What do you mean? So then I try to steer the conversation to something that we both could agree on. So I went into abortion. So the argument, and he's pro-abortion, which is funny because you would think as an atheist, and being a moral atheist, you would be pro-life. So I said that his argument why it was okay to kill a child because he first said morality really depends on science, Well, science says this is a life. They like to move the goalposts too. Science says it's a life, so it's okay to kill life. He said, well, it's not okay. I'm sorry, it is okay because it's not sentient. So I brought up an illustration of what if there's a person that was in a coma for 9 months. And we know he's totally fine, he needs 9 months to recover. He's not sentient for 9 months. But at the end of the month, he's going to be totally fine. Can you pull the plug? Should you pull the plug? Should you kill him? He's obviously using resources. And his argument was that no, it wasn't not okay to kill that. But I tried to use the brain dead whatever, and like obviously that's not fit because they obviously were comparing it to a child in the womb. So essentially the point of the matter is it would have to be something that we know where it's going to recover. So that's okay. So then we talked about whether or not it was in danger of life, and if it was endangering a mother's life. And let's just face it, that is fractions of percentage that actually does happen. Most women prefer to wait it out and see if the child could be saved. But sometimes, years ago, women sometimes sacrificed themselves for their children. It's what happened. That would be something that the mother would have to decide, or the family. But that's not even the point. The point of abortion is that 99.9% of all abortion is used as a form of birth control, and that's a real problem. And when we say abortion, we're not talking about a medical procedure, because that would be done in the hospital. We're talking about things that would be done in an abortion clinic, like Planned Parenthood. So, and I said that would be really under Christian values. If the mother would die, or the child, that would be, at that point, that would really be up to her or the family, what have you. Of course, we would try to save both lives, but there is not a winning situation with this. But that's not really what we're saying. We're talking about abortion, which is killing one life. So then his argument changed to, well, we know that statistically, and there's been studies on this, and I don't think you really need a study for this, that a woman's life is a lot better if she doesn't have a child, or then she does have a child. Like basically her resources would diminish because she has a child. Well, duh. I mean, like I don't really think anybody really argues that, or even whatever. So I threw it back to him, and he said, I said, so what you're saying is, breaking down his argument is, it's okay to kill someone if it makes my circumstances better. So does that mean I can kill my grandfather to get my inheritance? And somehow, and because it was so logical, his brain shut down. Oh, you can't. It's so logical, and it's funny because if you're an atheist in general, supposedly a moral atheist, of all things, you would say that life is the most precious, especially because especially if you believe in evolution and you're trying to advance the species. you would think you would want more babies. But that's not really what's happening. So, I don't know. I try to I want to be really empathetic to these people. Oh, and the other thing is how do you judge what's moral and what's not moral? Like rules of society, like Western society was built on Judeo-Christian ethics. So, years ago, there's lots of different reasons for the distribution of resources, or people. I mean, it was oftentimes years ago in different societies, many different societies where the husband died, they would bury the wife also alive, so that they wouldn't have to essentially the resources. They wouldn't have to take care of another man's wife or another man's children. So that being said, and in atheist societies, aka communism, when they ran out of resources, they had killing fields so that the resources would be distributed evenly for longer. Because essentially communism doesn't produce anything. So, the question is, what do you do? So the question is, how do you judge situations when you have no litmus test to be moral or immoral? All the current things that you're seeing from your company chair through the internet that was created by Western society, through computers that were also created by Western civilization, through webcams or cell phones or whatever, also Western. How do you judge? It's not like there's this book, a standard, and say, okay, well, this is moral or immoral. All of our laws are based on based on Western society. So there is no litmus test. And even things that we can agree on, they don't seem to want to agree. It's a terrible life of whataboutism, of how dare you have rules for society or even expect anything from me. And I really can only say this is because they really only say that this is a result of an overly decadent society. People that really don't, you don't have to worry about where their next meal has come from, or there's always going to have a house over the head. Obviously food shortages are coming shortly, so what's going to happen then? I guess we'll see. So these are just some random thoughts and random comments I wanted to make to reply. I thought they were interesting and funny and whatever. So please like, subscribe, and continue to pray and continue to read the Bible, and you'll find Jesus. Have a great day.